Have you ever wondered how much better off the world would be if we only used clean energy? How we develop and use energy is one of the biggest topics of modern time. For years, we have used fossil fuels to power machinery, equipment, and objects that we use in our daily lives. However, recent research has presented many problems with fossil fuels, such as their impact on our environment, our health, and the fact that they are non-renewable. Luckily, there is an alternative to fossil fuels that is by far better in multiple categories. This alternative is called clean energy. Clean energy is better for our environment, our health, and our economy than non-renewable resources. Here are some of the ways that clean energy benefits our environment. Clean energy, also known as renewable resources, are produced by natural sources such as the wind, the sun, the earth, and water. Fossil fuels, on the other hand, are produced from coal, natural gas, and oil. These fossil fuels have majorly negative impacts on our environment because they produce pollutants into our air and our water. The biggest impact that fossil fuels have is global warming. Global warming is caused by carbon dioxide and other emissions that trap heat. This trapped heat causes Earth's temperature to increase, which could have several tremendous environmental impacts, such as melting ice caps and rising ocean levels. According to Renewable Energy World's website, electricity production accounts for more than 1/3 of U.S. global warming emissions, with the majority generated by coal-fired power plants, which produce approximately 25% of total U.S. global warming emissions. Natural gas-fired power plants produce 6% of total emissions. On the other hand, non-renewable energy sources produce little to no global warming emissions. Renewable Energy World also stated that a 2009 UCS analysis found that a 25% national renewable electricity standard would lower plant CO2 emissions by 277 million metric tons annually by 2025. This is the equivalent of 70 modern coal plants. However, our environment is not the only thing that benefits from using more clean energy. Using more clean energy offers great public health benefits. Air and water pollution produced by coal and natural gas plants have been linked to breathing problems, neurological damage, heart attacks, and even cancer. However, wind, solar, and hydroelectric systems can generate electricity without emitting any air pollutants. Geothermal and biomass systems produce some air pollutants, but their emissions are trapped, but their air emissions is far less than oil and natural gas. Wind and solar energy systems also require almost no water to operate. This may seem like it is irrelevant, but without any context, it is actually a huge improvement for all of society. Because wind and solar energy systems do not use water, it is impossible for them to pollute water supplies, which is a major problem by using fossil fuels. It also eliminates the strain that fossil fuels put on our national water supply. This means that there is no more water to go towards agriculture and other important water needs. Fossil fuels, on the other hand, have significant impacts on the water supply. Coal mining and natural gas drilling pollute water supplies, and all thermal power plants use great supplies of water for cooling. A study done by NREL, which considered replacing 80% of natural energy with renewable energy, found that water withdrawals would decrease by 51 to 58% by 2050, and water consumption would be reduced by 47 to 55%. That would be a huge improvement for our national water supply and usage. As you can tell, renewable energy could greatly benefit our health, but it could also benefit our economy. The renewable energy field is more labor-intensive than the fossil fuel industry. At first, this may seem like a major con. However, it is actually quite the opposite. Fossil fuel machinery is typically mechanized and capital-intensive. They require labor and pretty much produce energy on their own. Renewable energy, on the other hand, is a growing field that requires several machines to be built, operated, and installed. The wind industry alone had 75,000 full-time employees in 2011. There are more than 500 factories in the United States alone that manufacture parts for wind turbines, and according to Renewable Energy World, the amount of domestically manufactured equipment used in wind turbines has grown dramatically in years from 35% in 2006 to 70% in 2011. The wind industry is not the only renewable energy field that requires employees. In 2011, the solar industry employed approximately 100,000 people in the U.S. The hydroelectric industry employed 250,000 in 2009, and the geothermal industry employed 5,200 in 2010. That is approximately 430,200 jobs. That is destined to grow with the increase in use of renewable energy sources. A study performed in 2009 by the Union of Concerned Scientists found that a 25% renewable energy standard by 2025 would produce more than 202,000 jobs. Renewable Energy World's website states that UCS analysis found that a 25 by 2025 national renewable energy standard would stimulate $263.4 billion in new capital investment for renewable energy technologies, $13.5 billion in new landowner income, biomass production, and/or wind land lease payments, and $11.5 billion in new property tax revenue for local communities. This means that the projected growth of renewable energy would stimulate more than $288.4 billion by 2025. Another great benefit that renewable energy has over fossil fuels is stable energy prices. Energy produced by fossil fuels is constantly changing because of various reasons. In 2008, the cost of coal dramatically increased because of national demand, then later substantially decreased towards the end of that year due to declining global demands. The prices of energy produced by fossil fuels can be virtually unpredictable because of this very reason. Renewable energy prices, on the other hand, are more stable because once you have the equipment installed and assembled, the energy is virtually free. Renewable energy sources can also protect consumers when fossil fuel prices spike because their energy is free. There are a ton of pros to using clean energy, but there are also a few cons. One of the major cons of using clean energy is its availability. Renewable energy is somewhat limited by geography and nature. Hydropower cannot be used everywhere around the world. For example, you cannot install a hydropower operated machine in the middle of the desert because there is no water. Wind and solar power machines are somewhat limited by nature because some places tend to have more wind and sunshine than other places. However, new equipment and technological advances are being made every day to solve this problem. The pros of clean energy still far outweigh the cons. As I mentioned earlier, clean energy is better for our environment, our health, and our economy than fossil fuels. How we use and produce energy is one of the most discussed topics of modern day. We have traditionally used fossil fuels to power nearly everything we use. However, modern research and studies have shown that fossil fuels harm important factors such as our environment and health. Luckily, there is an alternative to fossil fuels named clean energy. Clean energy is by far better than fossil fuels in multiple categories and offers society a ton of benefits. The need for clean energy grows in urgency every day, and it is a topic that should be pursued. Thank you.